Oh,
Barry and Dylan, it's nice to meet you both virtually. Congratulations on like father, like son. Let's get right into it. Barry, tell us a little bit about the film and what inspired you to write it and to bring forth this type of film.
Uh, okay, a little bit about the film is that it explores nature versus nurture. It explores the idea that, Eli's father could have passed on more than a few character defects. And it also, what I originally wanted to explore is because every abused person does not become a serial killer, is there an extra added element like a hereditary gene? And when I went to Mayim Bialik, who's a doctor, a neuroscientist, um, she said it is possible. And then when I researched a bit deeper, I found an article about a father on Skid Row who had an infant at home. The father was put to death, and the infant grew up to be a serial killer. And that was it. So all I needed, I was in. And then I wanted to get that across, especially the effects of abuse, you know, like there is no positive outcome.
Yeah, it's interesting. I really thought about some of the things, like I sometimes said with my daughter, oh, like, oh, you're just like me, and it's just like mannerisms or way of even coughing or things like that that are very little. So why not something like this also be possible to be transferred from generation to generation? Dylan, you play Eli. Tell us a little bit about him and where you were able to connect with him to portray him.
Yeah, no, Eli is a little bit of a down on his luck sort of cat. He's, going through it quite a bit. His father is a serial killer, and that's very apparent early on in the film. So, um, he's dealing with that mentally and physically, and he's trying to chase this idea of he's not like his father. He's different, and he's not portraying him like he is. But I think, like you said, it's like what we're all fighting is to, fight the mannerisms of your father or your mother or something like that. So, yeah, I think that's his struggle throughout the film.
And one of the interesting things I found about the film is that we don't necessarily we get a look at the father straight up in the beginning with what happened, but we don't really necessarily learn about him except throughout the film through Eli. Tell me about that approach, Barry, because I found it that not only did it save time, but I think it allowed us as audiences to relate a little bit more with Eli.
It was very intentional. I wanted to get to know them through their interactions. I wanted them to have that sitting opposite each other, that Silence of the Lambs type Jodie Foster and Hannibal, you know. So I wanted that dynamic. I also wanted to see a seemingly normal person working in a park I don't want to say lose his shit, and just, he has an overdeveloped sense of right and wrong. And when he saw that kid being bullied, again, the boundary just disappeared and he lost his cool totally. And it came out of nowhere for Eli, for us, even for his father, because he was going to work that day, not even thinking of doing something like that. Um, and now, so I wanted us to be in Eli's shoes. Like, you got a curmudgeon for a father, you're picking him up from work, and then holy shit, and we're in that same moment. And I wanted to get to, remember, Eli's been estranged from his father. So we're learning as Eli's learning. He's asking our questions. And I really wanted that.
Now that's really interesting, Dylan. I thought you did a great job at really showcasing with through your emotions, uh, just kind of getting those urges and kind of fighting what we would call nature in this case. And tell me, what did you do to really to prepare for this role? Did it take a toll on you because you were very much in the zone, as I can see through the film?
Yeah, yeah, it did. It took a toll. I think for the weeks leading up to it, I was pretty alone. I didn't really speak to too many of my friends. I didn't really interact with too many people. I wanted to really dive into this character and full-fledged get in there. And um, that's not always the healthiest thing for you. So yeah, I hope people can see it through the performance and see how much we give towards that kind of performance. But um, it was tough at times. I think it took me about 2 weeks to turn it off. So yeah, so it was definitely a challenge.
And Barry, what did you do on set to really work with Dylan to make sure that he captured Eli in the way that you had envisioned it?
Oh, I love that you asked this question. So as soon as Dylan came on board, we met on FaceTime and we continued to meet on FaceTime and go back and forth with the character development. Like really, we went page by page and discussed motivation, made changes where we felt it was important to like get a certain point across or a certain triggered, you know. So it was very much a dual effort in bringing Eli to life on the page. And then he took it from there. He did a damn good job.
And part of that story, which I really enjoyed, was really Ariel Winter's Haley, really the humanity of it all, and trying to almost find that normal picket fence family approach that I found myself rooting for, hoping that he's gonna be able to find his way. Barry, tell me about that aspect of her character, and then Dylan, you can chat about maybe your guys' chemistry and working with her.
Yeah.
Uh, Ariel was great. She was the perfect choice. I'm so glad she loved the script. Um, I wanted Haley to be a more meek character. I wanted Haley to be positive in spite of everything she went through at home. Like this girl had hope, you know? I mean, what an incredible human to just know how badly she was had been treated and being treated and, and to like let Dylan into her life and try to and see the good in him and try to keep pulling the good from him, you know? And that comes from that positivity she has that might be even blinding sometimes. You know, a lot of people would have left a lot earlier, but she just he really sold himself to her. She really bought it that these, you know, were rightfully done and no one's gonna miss them. And, you know, and I'm gonna be honest with you, killing her mom and her mom's boyfriend was one of my favorite scenes because, you know, he could not take that what they had done to her. And it was really bad. It wasn't little, it was really bad. And it's like I would wish it on anybody, but as long as I'm watching the movie, I'm glad they got it.
Yeah. No, and to just add to that, I think me and Ariel's chemistry was great. She's honestly one of the most professional people I've met on set. Really giving. She had a lot of knowledge to pass on to somebody like me who's, still learning. And yeah, I think you can tell throughout the movie that we have a lot of chemistry, and she's just so easy to work with. It was really a pleasure.
You're muted.
Sorry, I was muted. He touched upon this also about Eli killing her parents. Uh, and it really made me think, like, yes, this is his hope, this is his maybe his escape. But can you elaborate also on maybe that duality of also being the catalyst to uh, killing more people just because he's so enamored with her and wanting to protect her also that maybe while trying to help him heal, it's also fueling the fire.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think honestly, she fuels the fire for him throughout the movie, and you start to see that, the parts of him that he wants to keep dormant and very quiet are actually, thrown out there because she's almost kind of egging it on. Um, but yeah, I think, it's always a fight against what your urges are and what you're trying to do. So I think that's where it really relates.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate getting to chat with you. It's a really, really interesting film that I enjoyed exploring just because it opens a lot of doors and with questions of what our nature is versus nurture and someone like Eli and going forward. So thank you so much. It was a great thriller and I hope to chat with you again.
Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
Manny. Take
Appreciate it.
care.